we think that a June hike is essentially baked. However, we think it will be quite interesting to see what happens in terms of the language and the information in regards to the balance sheet, and also in terms of the intricacies regarding the dot plots. There's a couple of things worth mentioning. For one, we know that Governor Tarullo has resigned, so therefore we're going to have one less dot or series of dots in the plot. And if everything else stays the same as is largely expected, just by default, that implies that we are likely to potentially see a little bit of a small rise in the median dot plot in 2018. That's, of course, assuming that Tarullo was a centrist or is a centrist and probably even likely on the dovish side. So that's a small kind of mechanical effect that is probably worth considering. And the other issue in regards to the balance sheet is that in May, the minutes told us that the FOMC wants to start the balance sheet before the end of the year. So that implication is quite important because we think that there might be some sequencing issues there, meaning that if the balance sheet begins before, say September, then a hike is more likely to be in December rather than in September. So net, we don't think that is a material distinction because the overall effect will be a stronger dollar. However, the sequencing still will be important. Of course, the magnitude of the pace of balance sheet reduction will also be important.
So if that scenario does play out that you've laid out for us, Rodrigo, and you expect a stronger dollar, why has the dollar been in a bit of a soft patch recently?
Well, because ultimately, as much as the Fed is telling us that they want to hike, not only in June, but also in December or sometime later this year, and of course the following year, it's still very much data dependent. We had softness in Q1, and we still need the data to turn. We think that we will get stronger data over the coming months. In particular, we think earnings growth will rise. However, for the market to be convinced, it's not only the Fed that needs to tell us that they will remain on track, but we need the data to support that view.